Welcome back to the best division in football with your boys Awthentik and the Beard. Y'all, we are down to the 4 best teams left in the NFL. We got 2 championship games to go over today, man. The 49ers are headed to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles, who just beat the brakes off our New York Giants. And Joe Burrow and the Bengals are going to be headed to Arrowhead to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. The 4 teams right now in the championship round have a combined record of 59-14, man. I really do think we have 4 of the best teams here. 49ers are 15-4, Eagles are 15-3, and when you take it to the Bengals, they're 14-4 with the one game they missed out. Kind of looked like they was on their way to 15-4 there, and the Chiefs are 15-3 after getting the bye as well. Should be an interesting show. It's going to be a little awkward not having my New York Giants here in the mix this week for the preview, man. You know, first week without us, man. I'm feeling some kind of way. Shout out to rich homie Quan. But let me bring in my homie, your brother, the best co-host in the country one time, Mr. Beard himself. How's it going, brother?
Oh, you know, another day, another dollar. I didn't get to say that to you backstage, so I figured
yeah,
I'd
that's
say
the
it to
saying
you now.
every week. Another day, another dollar.
No, listen. We're down to crunch time here, and it's exciting. You know, like we are a couple weeks away from the greatest game of the year, which is the Super Bowl. So I think that, you know, we've got 4 teams here that are all capable of winning the Super Bowl. And one way or another, we're thought of as Super Bowl contenders to start the year.
Facts.
Obviously, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Bengals were there last year. The Philadelphia Eagles were basically, you know, everybody's team that was, you know, probably the most improved team in the National Football League. They made some huge signings in the offseason. They drafted well. Jalen Hurts was, you know, progressing. So they had a lot of momentum. And then the San Francisco 49ers, who everybody knew had a good team. It was just a matter of, I don't think they expected to be where they are the way that they got to where they are.
Yeah.
Or maybe not necessarily them, but, you know, fans as a whole, you know. So it was definitely a interesting season for the San Francisco 49ers, and we're down to the Final Four. It's gonna be a very interesting ride here as far as, you know, these 2 championship games. I was breaking down some of the numbers as I was preparing for the show, and I realized how close these teams really are to one another, and you can really see that in the reflection of the lines made by Vegas as well. So it's going to be some fun and exciting football. And before we start doing all of that, I did want to send a big shout out and some love and prayers to Chris Baker, former Washington, Redskins football player, amongst other teams. I actually had a chance to be on a show with him and Big Doug, the Big Douglas Show. And I remember finishing that conversation up I had that day with them and Big Pooh, and being like, when you get to talk to a player, the perspective that they have, it really opens your eyes to everything. And he was a straight real dude, real cool, very knowledgeable, obviously, and it was a ton of fun. So, like, I just, you know, he suffered a stroke, and he is in high spirits. He is doing well. He sent out a message via Instagram, so it'll be interesting to see, you know. Hopefully he can, make a full, strong recovery. But I definitely want to send out some love and prayers to my guy, Swaggy, is what everybody in this community knows him as. So big shout out to Chris Baker. We are thinking about you, buddy, and hope you do well, my friend.
That's facts right there, man. Definitely. Praying for a speedy recovery for the homie, man, and he can get back to doing what he loves.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, let's go ahead and say a quick couple of shout-outs to the people that are rocking with us right now. We appreciate all the love and the support. To everybody who is watching us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and, of course, right here on the YouTubes, home of Awthentik and the Beer. We appreciate all the love and the support. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up while you guys are here. Big shout-out to Coach Taylor. JMO is in the building. What's going on, Jamison? Hope all is well, my friend. Thank you for joining us, as always. Some Commanders love has arrived once again. Big shout out to my guy, the Beige Boy, HTTC. All day, you know what's up, my friend.
Salute.
Big shout out to our guy, No Mets, No Nets, No Jets, says, what up? Appreciate you stopping by, my man, as always. and one of our resident Dallas Cowboys fans who has not given up on the football season quite yet. Kai 001 is in the mix. We appreciate you.
Salute. What's going on, fam?
And we want to thank you guys who are rocking with us as always. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Big facts, man. Big facts.
Yeah, let's rock and roll, my friend. It's going to be
man. I told you it's going to be a little interesting without our teams in the mix, man. It's a little wild today, man. I know the New York Giants sitting at home. A lot of quarterback talk. Big shout out to my homies in the spaces today, man. Base, Rob, the homie BT also hosting, man. Like the last couple of days in the New York Giants spaces have really been amazing. A lot of different conversations. Obviously, I think the Giants have like 21 free agents right now that need to get re-signed or they're going to figure out what they're going to do with them. So there's a lot of talk about how this roster is going to look next year. And man, it seems like we've been talking about football and New York Giants like literally into the morning, bro. Like we talked like till 2 a.m. the other night. I was up till about midnight in the spaces last night. So it's been a reoccurring thing, man. And there's a lot of people in this community that I'm just figuring out about that really, man, bring a lot of value. I'm trying to think of the one homie's name. I think his name is Giants Over the Cap, I believe his name is. Great with the numbers. He was in the spaces today. Doug Analytics popping up in there. Dan Schneier popped up today in the spaces, had a lot of good stuff to say. Gave some positives and some negatives about Daniel Jones and how we were going to re-sign him. So big shout out to all of them, man. It's been a fantastic week considering our teams are not in the mix. I don't know what's going on with the Commanders community as far as quarterback talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of quarterback talk, and right now it's kind of similar to what you're talking about with the Giants, where we're kind of traveling the waters of how to create cap space. Who's on the chopping block, as they would say. There's a lot of interesting stuff out there. Obviously, we are in a very interesting situation. We're going to free up a lot of money because we don't have to worry about paying Carson Wentz. And then you got some guys like, Logan Thomas, who's probably going to get let go. And then you got to worry about Daron Payne. And then, Bobby McCain at safety. There's some opportunities for some younger guys to kind of step up now that we kind of have some of these other guys that are, expendable to a certain extent. So it'll be interesting
Logan
to see.
I like that one. I'm gonna bring him up in one of our spaces. See how the fam is feeling about Logan Thomas.
I think that's kind of opening the door for my guy. To be the first round draft pick, Michael Mayer. Just gonna throw that.
You go ahead and make that mistake in the first round. You go ahead and do that.
That's going to be one of the things I'm going to dive into. I'm going to dive into some tight end.
I did that last season, so I know there has not been a lot of first round tight ends that have had success. TJ Hawkinson and Eric Ebron was one. That's it. Kyle Pitts looking all right.
Yeah, we're still going to wait. I mean, Kyle Pitts, but I'm not worried about Kyle Pitts, the player. I'm just worried about the environment that he's in, basically.
Yeah, they got a good young squad set up over there, so we'll see how things go. But let's get off into this first matchup, man. We're going to tackle the 49ers, head to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. All right, man, this one is definitely an interesting matchup, man. Two young quarterbacks, one of them who we never thought would be in this situation. This game is Sunday at 3 p.m. on Fox. I think the Eagles are favored by 2.5. I don't know if that line changed or not. What you got over there?
The last one I saw was recent was 2.5, and the over-under at 46. Yeah,
that's what's up, man. The 49ers are making their 18th appearance in the NFC Championship game. That's an NFL record. Looking for their 8th trip to the Super Bowl. Philadelphia is looking for its 4th trip to the Super Bowl. Last time the Eagles were a number 1 seed in the NFC, they won the Super Bowl in 2017. I'll never forget that. We was down in Miami. I was with Kamani, who's an Eagles fan. And, man, I was rooting for the Eagles that day. I'm not even going to lie, man. They were playing against the Patriots. So I had the homie with me. I didn't want to be on a trip with him and watch him have to, watch his team lose in the Super Bowl. We were down there on South Beach, man, right on the Strip, watching that game outside, man, and it was hype. It was definitely a great time. Last week, the 49ers defeated the Cowboys 19-12. The Eagles, man, they really, really, really handled business against my New York Giants, 38-7 in that one. Jalen Hurts threw for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brock Purdy had his most, I would say, Mr. Irrelevant-like game last week. He was 19 of 29, 214 yards. He did have 9 rushes for 34 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground, though, but he had no passing touchdowns, no interceptions, so still pretty clean, but he did break that streak of 7 consecutive games with multiple passing touchdowns. Purdy on the year, man, these numbers look pretty damn good for a guy who only played in 7 games. 1,374 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Let me add this here. Daniel Jones had 15 touchdowns in 17 games and 5 interceptions. Your boy Brock Purdy over here, I know the circumstances are a little bit different. Got 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a QBR 65.5. Purdy has won 7 straight games. This will be just the 3rd road game of Purdy's career. So we know going to Philadelphia in a hostile environment, that might change things up a little bit. Last week, Brock Purdy joined Joe Flacco and Mark Sanchez as the only rookie quarterbacks ever to win 2 playoff games. All 4 previous rookie quarterbacks to reach the conference title game have lost. So Brock Purdy is looking to be the first quarterback to ever win this game and be headed to a Super Bowl as a rookie. Those 4 quarterbacks before him were Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Flacco, and Mark Sanchez. They all lost. The 4th one was such an interesting name, Sean King in 1999. I was like,
he was
wow.
I really enjoyed watching Sean King play football. Out of the University of Tulane quarterback, like I remember.
The beard got a little freeze action there one time. I'll
did
keep it going from here. So Purdy could be the first rookie quarterback to reach the Super Bowl. The 49ers have won 12 straight games, man, and the 49ers are playing in their 2nd straight NFC Championship game. And this will be the 3rd in 4 years. You talk about consistency. They have been there, and they still have a question mark at the quarterback position entering into next season. They played in the Super Bowl. They last played in the Super Bowl in 2020, and they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 31-20. So we do have a chance for a repeat Super Bowl from 2020 type of performance here if the 49ers can win this game and the Kansas City Chiefs can go on to beat Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, last meeting between these 2 teams, the 49ers defeated the Eagles 17-11 on September 9th, 2021. That game was in Philadelphia. And this is just the 2nd postseason meeting between these 2 teams. Revenge game for defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans, former linebacker who played for the Eagles for 4 out of his 10 seasons. And he's got that 49ers defense balling out right now. The 49ers defense limited opponents to a league best 300.6 yards per game during this regular season. And they held the Cowboys to 282 yards last week. So I'd look for a matchup where Jalen Hurts and this offense is definitely going to have to step up. We know that the 49ers can be in a defensive battle. We saw it last week against the Dallas Cowboys where they only scored 19 points in that game, relatively close throughout that whole entire game. Tony Pollard goes down. Things kind of change up for the Dallas Cowboys. They couldn't put up enough points on the board to hang with the 49ers. 49ers win that game. I think it's going to be a lot of the same for the Eagles, man, but I'm banking on Jalen Hurts to be able to put his team in position, get them in the red zone, and be able to score some points. But what are you seeing in this matchup?
I mean, I think this is a game for Jalen Hurts because I don't know why, but believe it or not, for some odd reason, there's still a lot of people out there that aren't necessarily sold on Jalen Hurts, which to me is obviously crazy, but that's the truth. So I think this is a great opportunity for Jalen Hurts to show people what he's really capable of. I mean, he's going up against this monster defense, but the Philadelphia Eagles offense is one of the best in the National Football League, and so is their defense. So there's definitely some opportunity here. I was breaking down these numbers and looking at how close these teams were, and so I kind of put them up against each other to try and find like where each team can make, you know, the most impact. So for me, obviously, you know, it's going to be San Francisco's pass defense is not necessarily as good as their rush defense. They're 20th during the regular season. They were 20th in the league, giving up 222.9 passing yards. Philadelphia has the 9th best passing offense, putting up 241.5 passing yards per game. So I think Jalen Hurts is going to have to throw the ball in this game, obviously. I mean, they're going to run the ball. I hope they run the ball, even though, you know, we talk about San Francisco's run defense being the 2nd best in the league, only giving up 77.7 rushing yards per game. Philadelphia,
we're not doing over-unders yet, but
yeah,
we'll probably end up taking the over in that one. I mean, they put up 268 yards on the ground against the Giants last week, so this ain't going to be that same kind of matchup, but we'll see.
No, I mean, they're averaging 147.6 on the ground rushing. So that's basically double, almost exactly double what San Francisco allows. So
Yeah.
you got to imagine they can find some sort of, in the median of that and still, rush for maybe like 100+ yards. That'd be huge for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then, in the red zone, this is a big thing too. San Francisco's going to have to find a way to limit the Eagles to scoring 3 or, stopping them, because Philadelphia does like to go for it on 4th down in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
But San Francisco's red zone defense is 20th in the league during the regular season, allowing opponents 56.8% conversion in the red zone. And we know about Philadelphia, one of the best in the league. They were 3rd best, converting 67.8% in the red zone. So you can see that doesn't seem like a lot, like 11%, but that's a glaring big difference when you're talking about red zone conversion rates. And then obviously San Francisco's offense is going to run up against some problems here against Philadelphia. Philadelphia's pass defense, number 1 in the league during the regular season, only allowing 179.8 passing yards. And San Francisco only averages 226.8, which is 13th in the league. Now, the running the ball for San Francisco, I think, is going to be key. They averaged 138.8 yards per game, which was 8th best in the league. Philadelphia's defense, middle of the pack, 16th. So they were giving up 121.6 yards per game on the ground. Now, also 3rd down is going to be important for San Francisco's offense. That's a opportunity to control the clock and move the ball on Philadelphia. Philadelphia, middle of the pack on 3rd down defense, 38.6%. But San Francisco's offense is the 6th best at converting 3rd downs at 45%. Now, Brock Purdy. Y'all knew I was going to come with a little bit of Brock Purdy hate, right? Just a little
some
bit.
burnt flowers. We know.
Some burnt flowers. So both of these teams, I think, are playing this game is the toughest opponent each one of these teams has had all season, I think. I think we can agree on that. So Brock Purdy has only played 2 road games during this stretch that he's been quarterback. Only 2 road games.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a big game for him going into Philadelphia, which we know can be pretty hostile, okay?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a test for him as far as a road game. Now, Philadelphia Eagles pass rush win rate is number 1 in the NFL. All right. And the Brock Purdy has, believe it or not, faced the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th best pass rush win rate teams already this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Dallas was number 2. And he had a 53.1 QBR in that game, got sacked twice.
It's pretty decent.
Against Miami.
The pressure rate was over 50 in that game, too. To only get sacked twice is not too bad.
Yeah. And then against Miami, who was a 50% pass rush win rate on the season, he only had a QBR of 56.5, and he was sacked 3 times. And then he went up against Arizona, who was the 4th best pass rush win rate. And his QBR was only 51.5, and he got sacked 4 times.
I don't think you should keep saying only, because you can't forget quarterback QBR is on a scale of to 100.
Yeah.
People for a season will average, they'll be at the top of the league averaging like 60, high 60s.
I understand, but
so keep that in mind. I heard only twice followed by the 50 high. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty average.
That was his worst of the season, was the 51.5. And the most times he was sacked of 4 times. So in comparison to his other matchups, when he's going against these teams that have really high pass rush win rates, he has not fared as well against like he has in the other opponents. So I think going against Philadelphia, who is number 1 in the league during the regular season in pass rush win rate, this is gonna be a matchup for Purdy. So I mean, as much as Jalen Hurts has to prove, Brock Purdy's got a lot. I mean, he's playing with house money, which I think makes it a little bit easier for him. I feel like Jalen Hurts is definitely under more pressure to perform in this game as opposed to Brock Purdy. Obviously, there's a lot on the line here. We're talking about the Super Bowl.
For sure.
So it's just, to me, I feel like this is going to be a test for Brock Purdy going against this Philadelphia Eagles defense. I mean, you've said it time and time again as we talked about the Philadelphia Eagles during this playoff stretch about how, many sacks they've had and how many different players can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, 70 on the year. It's ridiculous.
For me, it's going to be tough, I think, for Brock Purdy to, really, really succeed in this matchup. I'm leaning towards Philadelphia in this game 100%. That's
Yeah,
where I'm
if
at.
I'm
So
Shanahan, I'm going to look to get Brock Purdy going early by getting that running game going. Those running plays with Debo Samuel. They didn't really get CMC clicking quite much last game. Elijah Mitchell was the leading rusher against the Giants. CMC hit the under on the scrimmage yards as well. So I think you got to get that running game going because we know the easiest way to slow down a pass rush is to get that running game going. I think that's where the New York Giants went completely wrong last week. Tried to come out with a more of a pass happy type of offense. Didn't rely on the run. Only 4 carries for Saquon in the first half, and we down 28 points in no time. For San Francisco, I think the second quarter is what is most important for them because we know how the Eagles like to do. The Eagles like to dominate early and coast to victory in the second half. A lot of their points get scored in the second quarter. They came out against the Giants. They scored on 4 out of their first 5 drives, and I'm not talking about field goals. They scored touchdowns on 4 of their first 5 drives. You don't want to get off to that slow start. And equally as important for the Philadelphia Eagles, you also on offense don't want to get off to a slow start. If you allow this game to get ugly and look like how it looked, with the Dallas Cowboys last week against the San Francisco 49ers, I think that leans towards favoring the 49ers and winning this game. Eagles got to come out, score points, get in the red zone early, capitalize on those red zone opportunities, and I think this game could ultimately end up being like a piece of cake for Jalen Hurts in this offense because if you force Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense to have to throw the ball, then your front 4 can pin their ears back and get after the quarterback like they did against Daniel Jones last week.
absolutely. I mean, all of that is super important. I think the game script, the flow of this game is going to be very interesting because I would imagine, the Eagles would rather it be more fast-paced game, right? You would think?
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then San Francisco would like to slow it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I just this is gonna be a good coaching matchup too. As much flack as people give Nick Sirianni, I mean he's a great coach. He's proved
not anymore. Not anymore. People don't like him. There's a big difference.
They don't like him.
Yeah, there's a difference in not liking somebody and then not acknowledging how good of a coach they are. I believe the finalists came out for head coach of the year, and I believe Nick Sirianni was on that list. It was Brian Dable, Nick Sirianni, and there was one more name on there I thought was a little bit unexpected. I can't remember who it was, but there was 3 names on that list. So I really think that the that narrative around Nick Sirianni is about to be gone here.
Yeah, and Zach is dropping some nuggets for us. The 49ers allowed 3.3 yards per carry to running backs and 3.6 yards per carry to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how much Jalen Hurts, runs the ball in this game. I think it's going to be more of a passing game for Jalen Hurts. We have seen him on occasion this year throw for 300+ yards.
Oh, yeah.
He's 100% capable of doing that. So it'll be interesting. And then Zach also talks about how the 49ers are a good screen team as well, which can help slow down the pass rush. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. The quick passes, those can supplement for the running game not working. That's definitely a great point right there. And we know 49ers have not allowed a single 100-yard rusher on the ground this year. I think that they're going to be looking to try to do that again against the Eagles, who like to use, a bunch of different running backs. We saw Kenneth Gainwell go crazy last week against the Giants and go over 100 yards. I think that was on like 10 or 12 carries too. Like barely, he was averaging 9.3 yards per carry in that game. And who knows, maybe Miles Sanders is just completely fresh after that game, and you still got Boston Scott. I know he's a Giants killer, but this is a big matchup here to get to the Super Bowl. So I'd look for a little bit of running back by committee. Seems like the Eagles kind of got away from doing so much RPO. Like that was like their bread and butter at the beginning of the year, read option and RPO. And it seems like, they kind of just go into a straightforward type of game plan here. But maybe that's because they were playing against my New York Giants. Maybe that's probably that. But who you going with ultimately in this game, score-wise? Let me know what you're thinking, man. And, then I'll give you my score. We can move on to the next one.
I am going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game by a final score of, I'm going to write it down first and make sure that looks like a good score. It does look like a good score. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles to win by a final score of 20-16.
Nice little low-scoring game. I'm literally deciding who I want to go with in this game right now. I mean, that 49ers defense has been really good. We saw the Eagles go up against the Dallas Cowboys this year, but it was, with what's my man's name? Cooper Rush early in the year playing quarterback. And then when they played them the second time around, they had Gardner Minshew at quarterback and still hung with them. And the San Francisco 49ers really handled business with Dallas. I'm kind of leaning towards that one right there with Zach. I think And I can't catch up. That's the problem, man. I think you're 4 games up now.
Yeah. So, well,
I went 1-3 last week. You went 3-1. You was a game up already.
Yeah. So 3 games up. You'll have to pick against me each one.
Super
of these
Bowl,
next
give me 2 points. Yeah, I'm gonna pick against you because I am picking against you in the Chiefs game. I already know who you're going. You're going with the home team there, your home team. I'll say, yeah, give me the 49ers in a
black and orange for today.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm going to go with the 49ers in this one, even though I think that the Eagles are going to have a really good chance at winning this game. I got to try to catch back up on this scoreboard. So this is an opportunity. I'm not going to get any more of these. I'm going to take the opportunity to try to catch up to you. So I'm going to go 49ers win this one, similar to how last week's game went. And I'm going to go with the score that Zach said. I'm going to go 24-21. I like that score. I think that's solid right there.
24-21. And then also, I see my guy has come out of Commander hiding, Kevin the PRF. Says 26-20, 49ers. So.
I like it, man. Even though the Eagles are the last squad representing the NFC East, I'm going to go against the grain here. I got a little catching up to do, man. Picked with my heart a little too much in some of those first rounds, man. Picking the Seattle Seahawks was absolutely crazy. I was on that acetate when I made that pick. And then the Chargers really let me down, man. That comeback was just absolutely ridiculous.
Historic.
Yeah, I don't like games like that. I like a team to get out in front, control it. I don't want to see these crazy comebacks. That Atlanta,
I live for it.
I just don't like those. I feel bad for those teams because the taste of victory was right there. It's right there. When you look at Matt Ryan, his whole career would be looked at a lot differently if he had a Super Bowl under his belt. You go up, you got like, what was it, a 28-point lead, man? You end up blowing a 28-point lead. And there's also some blown leads in this next matchup, man. That Chiefs-Bengals matchup, when they had their first playoff meeting, there was a blowout or there was a blown lead in that one as well. I just don't like seeing those, man. I like seeing teams finish. Unfortunately, the Chargers couldn't do that. Jaguars get one of the best comebacks in NFL history. We'll see how it goes, though. But I got 24-21. You got 20-16.
Yes.
Let me think. How are we going to get to that 16?
Who knows? All types of different ways. Maybe a failed 2-point conversion.
3 field goals and a touchdown.
Yeah, 3 field goals and a touchdown. It could be a lot of different ways. I like to leave the opportunity of a score like that open, you know.
I got you, man. All right, well, let's dive into this trivia time we about to handle here one time. I think I did remove the graphic from last week, so we'll skip out on the graphic one time. Let me see. I did remove the graphic. I got to bring that back up. But limited people in the building today, so y'all got some higher chances of winning today's prize. I hope we got some Giants fans in the building because the beard got something real nice if you're a Giants fan. Show them what we're working with here one time as far as the prize today for today's trivia.
Put it. Oh, here it is.
He said, where did the beard put it?
All right. If you're a Giants fan, I have this absolutely super sick Saquon Barkley card. He is literally diving over the pile. This is against the New Orleans Saints and scoring a touchdown. Very sick card. It is numbered 2 out of 199. So very limited card here. Saquon Barkley. Very gorgeous card. And if you're a Cowboys fan or a Commanders fan, don't worry. I got some more cards for you as well.
Big facts. Today's trivia is a little bit more, we've been leaning a lot more towards them New York Giants questions, I will say. Today's trivia is a little bit more playoff oriented, I'll say. It's not necessarily centered around Big Blue. It's centered around the whole entire NFL. So get your thinking caps ready. Get your Google fingers ready. Get that tab open. Beard, go over the rules for them one time so they know what's good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Awthentik and the Beard Trivia Time. Well, these are the rules and the regulations. Now, remember, it is the first person that we see on our end who answers the question correctly. This may appear different than what you see on your YouTube chat due to different internet lags, speeds, and other variables that may apply to that looking different. So the only way for us to be fair is to go by what we see on our end. Those are the rules and the regulations of Trivia Time.
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm hoping I might have botched this. I might have botched this.
Why don't you take a look at that while I give a big shout out to our guy, Two-Tone!
My guy.
For the $4.99 super chat. Says, massive salute and respects to Awthentik and the Beard.
drop by to pay our proper tribute. And all diehard Giants fam in the building, please slap all stinky Boyd's outa dough. Salute, Italy.
I don't think I botched it. I think I just panicked a little bit there. I don't think I botched it. Let me make sure. Yeah. So, yeah, we're good. I just want to make sure you got it over here. Let me give Tudo them real quick one time, man. My God, shout out Tudo in the building, dropping them fire quotes. I saw the comment you posted on the last video too, bro. I hope all is going well with the health, man. That's awesome to hear you doing better now.
And also, I don't know the answer, so you'll have to put that.
That's why I had a little moment of panic. I was like, let me put this answer in the private chat for you real quick one time, so you know what's good before we could see it on our end. And let me just make sure here. Yeah, we're good to go. I'm about to put it right now.
What's going on? Ben Dawson's in the building. We see you, Ben. Appreciate you stopping by. James Funk checking in from Facebook. Appreciate you as always. Alex Hobson is in the building. Zach is in the building. Word is in the building. Lucas checking in from Australia. Appreciate each and every one of you guys rocking with us. My guy, Glock, in the building.
Shout out to Glock, man. What's going on, Glock?
Glock, appreciate you.
All right, Beard, you ready?
I am ready.
All right, I'm ready. I'm definitely ready now. Today's trivia question.
Listen, I think we have to remind them that they need to have all of this is a more than one answer question.
You giving too many hints, bro. You giving too many hints. It's gonna be worded properly. Don't worry. You giving way too many hints. So let's get right to it. Don't give them too much time here. Today's trivia question is: name every team that has not appeared in a Super Bowl. Let's see who comes in hot, coming in first with this one.
Matthew Fernandez is in the building. SHU Carter's
Definitely
in the building.
An interesting space today, Ben Dawson. Definitely. Shout out Lucas in the building. What's going on, fam?
915 is in the building.
Name every team that has not appeared in a Super Bowl. Gonna need all those in one answer, fellas.
Yeah, put it all in one answer.
Okay.
This is very. This one it takes a little bit of time because you have to write them all out.
I asked you backstage and you didn't answer. You kind of just brushed it off. I was like, I don't think he would get this one.
Okay.
You got one yet? I think we got a winner. I think I see a winner up there.
I see one. Yes, I do see one.
All right, let me see. Give me a little confirmation to see if our answers line up here for who the winner is, and I'll give y'all the answer. And that's maybe a little bit of conflicting. Let me see. Let me double check. Okay. All right, so today's answer to the trivia question is name every team that has not appeared in a Super Bowl. It is the Browns, the Lions, the Texans, and the Jaguars. Those four franchises have not appeared in a Super Bowl in the history of the Super Bowl, dating all the way back to before I was born. And today's winner is going to be Matthew Fernandez in the building. Came in hot with the right answer one time, man. I like the claps, man. Good stuff. Matthew, reach out to us on Twitter. You can hit us up at Awthentik or at Tim Walk on Water 2. Send us your address. We'll get that shipped out to you as early as possible. I believe Matthew, I'm pretty sure Matthew's a Giants fan. If not, we got some backup prizes for anybody that's not a Giants fan. And if you're not on Twitter, you can hit us up on through email at Awthentik@allornothingstudios.com, man. Congratulations on winning that, man. That's awesome for you, bro. The Beard showed me that Saquon card. I was about to be like, drop that thing off tomorrow, please.
It's so sick, man, because like when you see it in person, you're going to be like, man, that is so awesome. Like it's almost like everything's blacked out and it's like a hologram and the picture is just him diving over the Saints for a goal line touchdown. And it's numbered out of 199. So only 199 of those cards. So big shout out for that win.
That's looking like the last dunk on Space Jam.
That's a good one. Great analogy, Awthentik. And big shout out to our guys working on the buzzsaws. Leroy from Blood, Sweat, and Cell for the $10 super chat says sponsoring the beard for the 40.
we got a nice little collection for that 40, man. You breach that time, man. You might be, have a whole month of rent paid right there or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be listen, the back's getting a little bit better. Got some exercises going on here. I'm working on
I got no faith, bro.
No faith?
I got no faith.
We're gonna find out soon enough.
We might. Like I said, I'm banking on the over on either you running about 15 yards and being like, nah, dog, or we just won't get a show up. He's just not gonna show up before the draft and be like, yo, man, my leg, bro, like I hurt something, man. I can't make it out there. We shall see. If the beard is a man of his word, we shall see. We shall see. All right, let's take a quick commercial break, man, and then we'll come back and knock out that Bengals at Chiefs game one time. Y'all stay tuned.
Absolutely.
For me, I'm going to say for now, this is an overreaction.
Buried him in the turf with his chin wrapped around his nostrils. He calls a timeout. Good wherewithal by Eli.
Great wherewithal.
Put this to music. I don't think he stepped out either. That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
All right, let's talk about it, man. The Bengals, 14-4 with that playoff record, headed to Kansas City Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Chiefs. Man, I was looking around Twitter today, and I saw a quote from Willie Gay Jr., linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the reporter asked him, so what impresses you most about the Bengals offense? My man said, nothing. Gangster.
What a great response.
That is a gangster move, man. This game is Sunday at 6:30 p.m. This will be on CBS. Last week, the Bengals beat the Bills 27-10. That was in surprising fashion. Thought that game was going to be a little bit closer than that. The Chiefs beat the Jaguars 27-20. Patrick Mahomes had an MRI exam that confirmed a high ankle sprain. I don't know how he's going to be playing in this game, but Mahomes and Andy Reid insisted all week that he would play against the Bengals. The Bengals have won 3 straight against the Chiefs. All of these wins are by 3 points. So, it's some very close games, man. I was surprised to see that 2 out of the 3 games were played in Cincinnati. We know the Kansas City Chiefs are a different team in the playoffs at home. The one game in Kansas City, Chiefs had the lead 21-3, and they lost that lead, ended up losing that game 27-24 in overtime. That was the first playoff matchup between Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, so they haven't played that much. Andy Reid is 1-4 against the Bengals, and Mahomes is 1-3 since they joined the Chiefs. Andy Reid is tied with Tom Landry with 20 postseason wins. The only coach with more wins in the postseason is
Bill Belichick.
My man, Mr. Bill Belichick's got 31 postseason wins. This is the 5th straight AFC Championship game hosted by Kansas City, man. They've been in the mix straight up and down. The Bengals are making their 4th AFC Championship appearance in franchise history. Last meeting, the Bengals beat the Chiefs 27-24. That game was in overtime, December 4th in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, big game, 7 receptions, 97 yards. Tyler Boyd had 4 receptions for 60, and T. Higgins had 3 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown in that game. Quarterback Joe Burrow, man, 3-0 against the Chiefs, including that comeback last year. Set Bengals records for completions, pass attempts, and touchdown passes. He had 35 touchdown passes this year. Jamar Chase set the Bengals single-game record for yards receiving with 266. That happened against the Kansas City Chiefs, which is kind of crazy. They're going up in this matchup again. I don't know if we're going to see that kind of high-powered offense, but we'll see. I'm hoping for a barn burner, as we like to call it over here at Awthentik in the Beard. Mahomes been on fire this season, man. He threw for a career-high 5,250 yards with 41 touchdowns. I mean, Those statistics are
crazy.
absolutely ridiculous, man. And I don't want to keep comparing things back to my quarterback, okay? But Mr. Daniel Jones does not have that in 3 seasons, man. 41 touchdowns through the air. It's kind of ridiculous. Patrick Mahomes needs 3 touchdown passes to pass Dan Marino for 8th on the league's career postseason list. Dan Marino, for all that, not winning a Super Bowl, he's got 32 touchdown passes, man, in the playoffs. Kelsey, 14 catches last week against Jacksonville. He set a Chiefs playoff record. Kelsey had 1,389 yards receiving in the playoffs. That's tied with Rob Gronkowski for 3rd in NFL history. He needs 53 yards to pass Julian Edelman for 2nd behind Jerry Rice. So this dude is on fire right now. If I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, my number one thing is how do you stop Travis Kelsey? That's been the security blanket. That's been a security, more than a security blanket. That's like a whole quilt that could cover a whole wall because Travis Kelsey has been that guy in Kansas City. So first and foremost, I think that's the game plan. For Kansas City, I think defensively, you want to try to stop the run early. I think the Bengals are going to try to come out, try to establish Joe Mixon, who really hadn't had like a really grand season. He was under 1,000 yards this year. We've been talking about this a lot in the Giant spaces, talking about T. Higgins and his productivity. If he's a guy that's kind of expendable come the offseason, we know Cincinnati had 2 wide receivers this year to breach the 1K mark. I think their running back or their running game is taking a bit of a hit with that because you're getting a lot of this happening through the air with the Kansas City Chiefs. But I do think in this game, they're going to come out, try to establish the run. I talked about the Chiefs defense last week. That Chiefs defense, y'all don't get it twisted. Against the rush, they are number 8 in the NFL. So I know the Bengals later in the game will try to pass the ball, but I'm looking for the Chiefs to come out. I'm leaning towards the Chiefs, and I'm looking for them to come out and stop this run early, force Joe Burrow to throw the ball, and you got to get some pressure on him. He's got 3 linemen out for the second half of this season. So they're picking up some scraps off the streets. But last week, Joe Burrow was getting rid of that ball very quickly in the snow. I think they're going to come out with the same kind of short, quick passing attack. What do you see in this one?
I mean, we talked about this a little bit on Tuesday. Both of these teams' defenses are playing at a much higher level than they have been, earlier in this season and in past seasons and in past matchups against each other. So I think we can expect these defenses to continue that. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. I mean, as much as we talk about the importance of the Chiefs defense, the Bengals defense is going to have to find a way to get to Mahomes. Now, how limited is Mahomes going to be? Like, obviously, I don't want to make it sound like go after the ankle, but you have to go after Mahomes to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not going to be his normal self. I mean, the adrenaline will be rushing. He'll have a shot or two, and we're not talking about Hennessy like the Washington Redskins back in the day, but he'll have a shot.
At Rose Bar.
Yeah, he'll have a shot, and he'll be good to go. He'll be heavily taped up, but it's just all it takes is one sort of bad step, somebody roll on it, and we have a completely different ball game.
Facts.
Now, Joe Burrow he's kind of like the Chiefs kryptonite. He's a Chief killer. That's all there is to it, and his last 2 games, 732 yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions against the Chiefs, passer rating of
0. You said 0 interceptions.
0 interceptions.
That's solid work.
So he's getting the job done. And then Patrick Mahomes in the last matchup against the Bengals had a kind of in Mahomes' statistical universe, a rough start. In everybody else, pretty good. But his completion percentage was a little off in that game. 59.3% completion percentage. He was 16 of 27 for 223 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers, no interceptions. The Chiefs did have a fumble in that game, and he was sacked 2 times. The most interesting part of that matchup between these 2 teams last time, and we talk about these 2 quarterbacks, is the running game between both of these teams. In the last game, Kansas City ran the ball for 138 yards. Cincinnati ran the ball for 152 yards. And that was Samaje Perine. There was no Joe Mixon in that last matchup. So I think it's going to be interesting to see which one of these teams decides to try to establish the run first. I think obviously with these high potent offenses that both of these teams are capable of producing, I think it's going to be important to establish the run. Try your best to keep the other team off of the field. That will definitely help. And what the biggest thing that Cincinnati did defensively in this previous matchup was contain Travis Kelsey. Travis Kelsey only had four catches for 56 yards in that game. In the Kelcean world, that's containment. Okay,
Yeah,
because we know
facts.
this guy can do unworldly things, especially when him and Mahomes are clicking on the same page. And then Joe Burrow in the playoffs, it's like he's a different beast in the playoffs. In his 6 playoff games, he has a completion percentage of 68.1% completion percentage, 1,556 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a passer rating of 97.3. So he's just that good in the playoffs, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's gonna be interesting to see who strikes first, because you talked about this, the Bengals offense and their ability to jump out early. So I'm gonna be having my eyes on both of these games. I think are very important to look at the pace of play, the game script, and to see how these things are gonna go back and forth between each other. But I obviously. A full, healthy 100% Patrick Mahomes, I wouldn't be as quick to jump on the Bengals.
Do you think he's going to come out and be a little bit hobbled? Or do you think they're going to get him right?
I think he'll be – I don't think he'll be hobbled to come out. My main concern is, throughout the game. Like I said, all it takes is one bad step. All it takes is, somebody to roll up on him.
Yeah,
and it could completely – yeah. One of those.
Like they tried to do Debo. What was that, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it can completely change how they go about things. And it's just that Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow too. We talked about this before. Joe Burrow, the way that he maneuvers in the pocket, it's not like Mahomes, but it's not like Brady. It's a little bit of Rodgers. It's a little bit of all these different style of quarterbacks.
I'd say with Joe Burrow, he's not scared to take a couple of sacks in the pocket. Like, he's the kind of guy that, we saw it last season on their run, man. He had games where he got sacked 9 times in one game. It was like 7 times or something like that in another game. So I think it's just more of a different kind of a reckless type of play. He was even quoted in an interview like just a couple of weeks back where he was saying, like, I go out there and I'm not looking, I don't care. I'm looking to extend the play. I'm not worried about getting a sack. And I see SHU Carter was asking about the Bengals if they had ever won a Super Bowl before, dating back to the trivia question. But it's if they have appeared in one. So the Bengals, we know they already did appear in one already with Joe Burrow already. Now we're trying to go back to back here. But those were the 4 teams that have not appeared in it. And Zach also brought this to our attention as well.
Big shout out to Zach for the $1.99 super chat. Says Awthentik versus, I'm going to autocorrect for you, Beard. Madden game on YouTube when? Well, unfortunately, the Beard does not own a.
I tell you what, we could go throwback. I got the retro box over here that has every Madden from every year on it. You could pick a year. We could go in, clean slate, and just play like some Madden 06 or Madden 92 or Madden 93.
92 Madden for Super Nintendo. Probably.
Let's be clear here. There is no Madden 92 for Super Nintendo. It was just called John Madden Football.
Thank you.
And then the following year, they released it for Sega, 1992, and then 1993. For me, Madden 93 is the best one of that series.
Barry Sanders, HB toss, spin move, sideline, touchdown every single time.
Bro, I'm down to do that like whenever you want. Okay. You'd have to come over here.
I know. It's cross city, but it's okay. I can do that.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes away. It's all right.
All right. But yeah, that might be a interesting little concept, We'll add that to
I think I'll handle business. Well, we could do 2. We could do 2 Maddens if you want to, like maybe 90, 92, 93. The retro box, you can pick the system.
We could just start at the first one, and we'll just
I'm not
going to
play you
through.
in it. No, I'm not doing. That'd be a 24-hour stream. I'm not doing all that. Okay, but I also got every other football game. If you want to try to do that as well, I got Joe Montana football. I got every football game ever released on any system, pretty much.
Was a game that was Kansas
I pulled
City
it up.
Chief,
Very,
Joe Montana.
Very difficult to play. I was like, oh, no wonder I didn't like this game. Couldn't complete a pass for nothing in that game.
Big shout out to Ben Dawson says, will be a heavy dose of Kelsey. And watch this. Kadarius Toney will run and pass for a touchdown.
And pass for a touchdown. The Chiefs haven't really tried that with him yet. The Giants was trying that like every time they put him in the game. Reverse throwing the ball and whatnot. Oh, Tecmo Bowl. Straight classic right there.
Straight classic indeed. So, look, back to Mahomes and being hobbled. I think he's going to come out the gate fine. Like I said, shot, adrenaline. He'll be good. But the problem is it limits some of Patrick Mahomesian, his unigoat status is based on his ability to maneuver outside the pocket and the plays that he makes outside the pocket. And there's no question it's going to be limited to a certain extent. I mean, that's just like you said, we don't even know how he's playing. 90% of the people in this world would be still on the couch right now. You know what I'm saying? With a high ankle sprain. So, there's going to be some sort of limitations, but I don't put anything past Patrick Mahomes at this point. I mean, he could go out there and look like he doesn't even have an injury designation. You know what I'm saying? So there's always that chance of the Mahomesian magic that can come out of nowhere. We can't put that past him. But I am, riding with my Bengals.
I know you are. I see Gavin in the building. He says mobility will be limited. I don't care how much high stepping and getting off the podium to see that his ankle is effed. Yeah, I mean, that is not a normal ankle sprain, too. That it's a high ankle sprain.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it even worse. They got to protect him in a major way. You can't let him get hit.
Yeah,
that's something that you could slide wrong and hurt the ankle. You
Anything.
get that one tender, and that pain start rushing to you. Could completely change the landscape of this game. I think he's going to come out a little bit hobbled.
Yeah, and this other thing, too, is like we're talking about Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, okay? They're going to put together a game plan that's going to, hopefully take out any of that sort of possibilities with Patrick Mahomes. I would imagine you're going to see a lot of quick passing. And Isaac Pacheco, this might be a 25 carry day for Isaac Pacheco.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
they could definitely make this like a turn it into a ground type of game to try to nullify that ankle, and then if they have to throw the ball, then you get behind in the game. You're going to have to, and that might be what they have to do here.
Yeah, and you'll probably see a lot of interesting sets. You'll probably see some double tight end stuff. You might see Kelsey under the center. You might see.
You saw that last week
Yeah.
when he ran the quarterback sneak. It wasn't Kelsey, actually, it was the other tight end. And they run
Yeah,
a lot
Watson.
of sets with multiple tight ends on the field.
Exactly. So you'll probably see a lot of that stuff. Chad Henne getting in early or mixed in, only if forced to, I think. Only if forced to.
Yeah.
Unless they're playing us this whole time and Chad Henne's going to be the starting quarterback.
That's what I was going to say, because you are leading up to the game that's going to get you to the Super Bowl. Why would you just say, hey, let's say Patrick Mahomes is ruled out. You wouldn't come out and just say, oh, yeah, we're not playing him, and let them game plan for Henne. So I am leaving I'll say a 1%. Just 1% for Henne to maybe play in this game, maybe take over in this game if things get really ugly and he looks like he can't get it done.
I'm going to check on I see Gavin's asking about the Bengals run D. I'm going to check on that really fast and see.
I got it. It's their rush defense is actually ranked 7th in the NFL.
Not too shabby.
And their rush offense is 7th. That's kind of interesting right there. Chiefs defense is ranked 8th against the run. They're ranked 18th against the pass. The Bengals are ranked 23rd against the pass. Scoring defense is ranked 6th, so you never know what the Bengals could do to turn something into some points there. And turnovers could be a major thing in this game, I think, man. Whatever team turns the ball over in this one could really change the landscape of this game. The Bengals have the kind of offense where if Patrick Mahomes turns the ball over once or twice, I think they could rely on the run and probably have a better chance of trying to milk that clock out with Mixon. And I wouldn't be surprised to see P. Ryan get some touches in this game as well.
Yeah, and then just because that defense is good, you got to remember, too, and obviously we also said that these defenses are playing better now, more so than when they first met. But in that first matchup, Kansas City did run the ball for 138 yards in that game.
Yeah,
and
don't forget it's overtime as well, so you had an extra period.
Yeah, and it was a mixture of McKinnon and Pacheco in that game. I think they both had around 60 to 70 yards each, so it's a nice little mixture. And I'm sure you'll see a lot of different people touching the ball in this game. You're going to see Tony, you're going to see McKinnon, you're going to see Pacheco, you're going to see, maybe even Juju on an end around.
I like what Ben Dawson said, having that optimism to have a guy like Kadarius Toney scoring 2 touchdowns in this game. I don't know if one will come through passing the ball, But I think Kadarius Toney could be a bit of an X factor in this game. You know, you can't forget that he can throw the ball. So that does give you some options there with Kadarius Toney. They've ran him on some jet sweeps this year. I love the little ring around the Rosie huddle they did, even though that play got called back. But Kadarius Toney got a jet sweep on that, scored a touchdown, and then they gave it right back to him on the next play, and he still got in the end zone even with the penalty. So I'd look for Kadarius Toney to be heavily involved in this game. We'll see, but I know you got to get the ball to Kelsey in the passing game. I think that's the way you're going to get these linebackers to back up a little bit and might be able to open up some things for Pachenko as well in that running game.
Yeah, it's going to be – I think you're going to see a lot of interesting plays in this game. But listen, I can't stress it enough. Between these two games on Sunday, it's going to be a lot of fun to be a fan of football and watch these four teams play. I'm expecting some really good football. Maybe not necessarily like high octane, you know. Some people think is really good football is 40 points and stuff like that.
Oh, that is really good football,
yeah.
For sure.
For me, I
hate the word fun. It's one of my like vocabulary wise. I hate fun. Fun.
You hate fun? Exciting?
Come on, it's gonna be fun. Damn, every time somebody said that to me, I got in trouble. I hate that word fun.
You are not lying.
Right?
You are not lying. The way that is so true, man.
Yeah.
There's certain people too. Nah, man, it'll be fine. It'll be cool, man. It's gonna be
fun. The interesting part about both these games is like it's not gonna surprise me if they're both low scoring.
No,
Patrick Mahomes, hobbled ankle. We've seen the Cincinnati Bengals go out here and struggle against lesser competition. It happened in that first round against the Baltimore Ravens, where that game's like, I look at that team, and they should not be hanging with the Cincinnati Bengals, but they did, and it came down to, the longest fumble return in postseason history for them to actually get that win. Otherwise, who knows? This might be the Buffalo Bills here, maybe the Ravens here, who knows? But and then on the opposite side with the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles, I think if the 49ers can just contain Hurts, that game could be low scoring as well too. But I hope we don't get two stinkers. I hope we can at least get one of these teams over a good 24 points. I think we will. And that the Eagles, to me, is the most high potent offense right now outside of the Chiefs not having a healthy Mahomes. I think the Eagles have the best chance to put up some good points.
Well, let me see. How many points did I say the Eagles were going to score? I said the Eagles were going to score 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you know who's going to score the most points in this Sunday's games?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay. I know you're a Bengals fan. I get it.
Cincinnati Bengals 27, Kansas City Chiefs 24.
All right. I'm going to go I don't know why. It's funny. You picked the score of their exact last game. That'd be 4 straight games with a 3-point win. I can't see that happening. I'm going to go 30. Burrow is just not prone to making mistakes, man. We have not seen the big mistake in the playoffs. I just don't think he's going to make a mistake. So if the Chiefs win this game, I do think it'll be fairly close. I'm going to go 30, and I can't pick a 3-point win again. So I'm going to go – it's tough because if the Bengals get the last possession and they're down by 3, I got faith in Joe Burrow that he's going to drive down, put them in position, or down by 3 or less. So let's make it a little bit larger than that. Let's go 30-21 Kansas City Chiefs.
That's a big one. Not as big as James Funk, though. He says Chiefs 44-37.
Shout out James Funk holding us down on Facebook one time. All right, I got one more question. 21-17.
Gregory, 27-28 Chiefs.
Okay. I got one more question before we get up out of here for you. We visited this question a little bit during the first couple of matchups in the wild card round. Then we did this one in the divisional round as well. Which quarterback will have the best performance this weekend?
Okay, so are we talking like statistically, or are we talking like
we just like how we did it last time? I mean, we had 5 touchdowns from Dak Prescott, 2 touchdowns from Daniel Jones. I said it was Daniel Jones.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a outline here. Okay, if Kansas City can win and Patrick Mahomes puts up like a great game, not even insane, a great game, he'll have the best performance because he's playing with a high ankle sprain, right? If Brock Purdy finds a way to, throw 2 touchdowns, 200-something yards, and don't turn the ball over, and the 49ers win, he'll have the best performance because he's Mr. Irrelevant, right? Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow are kind of at a disadvantage here because they don't really necessarily have a storyline, okay? But if Jalen Hurts goes out there and throws for 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns and then runs for a touchdown and let's say 60 yards, he's going to have the best performance because he's going up against the number one defense in the league, right? And then Joe Burrow probably has the worst chances here because Joe Burrow can go out there and throw for, 2 or 3 touchdowns and let's say 280 yards, and it's just kind of like a good performance. It's a Joe Burrow performance, So I don't think Joe Burrow can do it unless he goes out there and throws 4 touchdowns, 300-plus yards.
I don't agree with you because I think performance could actually come down to, hey, the game could be 13-13, 2-minute drive to win the game.
Very true.
Or
Very
you
true.
only throw for 200 yards and you do what Patrick Mahomes did against, what's my man, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills last year, where you got like 15 seconds left and you do a magical drive. That's why I think best performance, you can put the criteria around it however you want, to be honest.
I like how I didn't put that into consideration when I was outlining that. So, there's a possibility of that for any one of these 4 quarterbacks. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts has the best performance this weekend.
You did get that last week. You had them in order, I think, last week, too, because you said we did of the NFC East quarterbacks, and you said Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, and I flip-flopped it all and said Daniel Jones riding with my pride like a damn fool, got me out here looking like boo-boo. And I had Dak Prescott number 2 and Jalen Hurts at the bottom, and it was actually flip-flop. So for this week, the unknown is Patrick Mahomes and how he's going to play. If YouTube would have gave me a 5th option in the poll, I was going to put Chad Henne up there. They didn't give me a 5th option. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and go Brock Purdy. I'm going to go Brock Purdy. That will be a story. He'd be the first rookie quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl ever.
Man, that would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be crazy. And he's in decent company. Flacco, Sanchez, and Sean King.
Listen,
it's interesting company to be
that
in.
That is a very, very interesting company. I mean, I'm curious. I'm just thinking if I can remember if all 3 of those guys started from the beginning of the season. Because I think Sean King came in for Brad Johnson.
Yeah, Sean King might be the one that didn't play the whole season. I think Sanchez played the whole season that year. His first 2 years, he took him to the playoffs.
Yeah. But, man, Sean King was a guy, man.
Yeah, a little mobility.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Sean King, man. Unforgotten, but forgotten.
All right, give him the 5-second countdown on the
5, 4,
poll.
3, 2, 1, and poll.
Let's see if we got a last-second vote. All right, we got 50% for Joe Burrow, 30% for Patrick Mahomes, 10% for Brock Purdy, 10% for Jalen Hurts.
So not on Awthentik in the Beard or on the island.
Definitely not. They left us definitely on an island. I got Brock Purdy. The Beard's got Jalen Hurts coming away with the best performance of the weekend. All right, man. So how you want to close this one out, man? It's a nice little sweet, tight show right here one time.
Oh, don't forget, we will be back Sunday. We haven't
Facts.
decided on a time yet, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be 1 o'clock. I'm just going to throw that
the
out
game's
there.
at 3. Facts.
Yeah, so we will be back Sunday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the special edition of the Parlay. We're going to do some over and unders, and we will give Awthentik a chance to come over to the side of the Beard and flip-flop on his games, even though the Awthentik is not a fan of the phrase flip-flop, so we're not going to say flip-flop.
Oh, yeah, you did. You saw that on Twitter, huh?
I did see that on Twitter, man. I always
Flip-flop
got my eyes on
Hey, listen,
Awthentik,
with more facts presented, I'm liable to change my opinion. I went
Now-
1 week, I said Daniel Jones is the franchise guy moving forward. Saw the performance against the Philadelphia Eagles. I was like, And
Break
for people out there that want to see some interesting breakdowns about the Giants quarterback position, especially Steven is spelled Steven, Delpome, Delpome. Find him on YouTube. He's just started his channel. We was talking on Twitter today, man, and the breakdowns were fantastic. I haven't even had a chance to tell him that. But he's usually frequently in my mentions on Twitter when people want to try to, like, defend the bad play from our quarterback in New York. And this dude be having the screenshots on deck. He has the videos on deck, and now I saw that he's actually creating some videos that he's putting up on a YouTube channel. He posted one on Twitter today, and I went to the breakdown and had a YouTube link, and I went to go look at it, and I'm like, damn, who is this talking? This is an awesome review. And then I look down, and it's the same person from Twitter, man. So big shout out to him, man, for starting his channel. I don't know how long ago he started it. Right now he's got about 4 videos up, but some awesome breakdowns, man. I mean, like some of the best stuff I've seen, man. So big shout out to Steven Del Pome one time, man. Awesome content over there. Looks like he's going to, some people hit the ground running, a la Awthentik in the Beard. And they enter the community, and they have high-quality content right off the bat. And I think he's a guy, man, like that 4 videos in. They're very short watches. They're only like a good 2 minutes each video. Just solid content, man. So definitely check that out if you're a Giants fan.
Big shout out to Stan the Man, Stanimal, presenting a very good question here. Does season 5 of Awthentik in the Beard start with off-season talk, or does off-season talk after the Super Bowl still count as season 4?
Season 5 will be right after the Super Bowl. As soon as we're going to take a brief little break, I'd say definitely no more than like a month. Definitely not. And then we're going to come back, and then that'll be season 5 of Awthentik in the Beard. I want to do some revamping, got to send out some emails to the graphics department, the editing department, the sound department. Y'all know how it goes, man. We got some things to iron out. Go and raise that bar, do what we do, come back for season 5 and try to light it up.
And then one more quick question from Ben Dawson. Literally, he says real quick, what do you think about the guy that didn't want to concede on things on Twitter?
I think that happens a lot with debates. Sometimes people will try to present something into a conversation where they're never going to get the right answer. So what they'll do is they'll keep asking you questions to try to keep reiterating the same point that they're making. I'll tell you briefly, we got a little bit of time, so I'll tell you briefly what the conversation was about today, that there's no other quarterback that's ever been in a situation like this, what Daniel Jones is in right now, where you have like a bottom of the league offensive line, bottom of the league weapons at the wide receiver position as far as productivity is what I thought he was talking about. And we presented, shout out to the homie Melly, who's always in the spaces. He said, well, what about Kirk Cousins when he got franchise tagged in Washington? And when Melly first said that, I was kind of like, damn, like they had some decent names over there because they did have Pierre Garçon and they did have Deshaun Jackson over there. But I went and I looked at the stats and I was like, damn, Melly is keeping it funky here. You had Pierre Garçon put up 777 yards, and Deshaun Jackson was the number 2 with like 520 yards. It's literally verbatim what the New York Giants did. We had Darius Slayton lead us in receiving yards with like 700-something, and then our next guy was Richie James. Now, Kirk Cousins, that didn't stop him from throwing for 4,000 yards and still putting up almost 30 touchdowns that year. So we tried to present that to him as a person. I also brought up Derek Carr from last season because you had Henry Ruggs getting in a car accident. You had John Gruden going through all the stuff with the coaching stuff, yet Derek Carr was extremely resilient during that year, took the Oakland Raiders to the playoffs with really not many weapons. He had Darren Waller at tight end for like, let's say, half the season or something like that. I think they said he started in 11 games, only had like, I think, 600 yards on the year. He turned a guy in Hunter Renfrow into a number 1. Outside of that, I think Zay Jones was still over there. There wasn't much going on over there, and Derek Carr stood tall. Their offensive line, according to PFF, was ranked 28th. As far as passing offenses, they were ranked 24th. I think that's a similar situation.
What was the Giants' offensive line? Because I wouldn't think that the Giants' offensive line was necessarily bottom of the league either. Like, I mean, maybe I'm not saying they were
according
good,
to PFF, they were this year. Yeah, they were like 30th or 29th this year.
See, that's weird to me. I don't in pass blocking only or
overall grades. And see, that's the thing about PFF grades. And Nunu brought this up when she was talking about Lamar Jackson. A lot of people will say, "Oh my God, Lamar Jackson had great offensive lines." Somebody came in there today and said that, and they were doubling down on this, saying like, Lamar Jackson's offensive line. If you use your eyes, they were not that good for the past 2 seasons. PFF might tell you this because they're going off win rate. So they're judging these linemen individually for the most part, accumulating all the numbers, and then coming to a grand score to try to rate them for the year. Using my eyes this year, the New York Giants offensive line was fairly decent. I mean, they weren't good, but they were all right,
Yeah, they wasn't nearly as bad as it was last year. You know what I'm saying? So To me, that's one of those things that kind of stood out to me when you were just, describing the situation that you were talking about.
And Daniel
But,
Jones, this isn't a great way to judge offensive line all the way through and through, but as far as time in the pocket, and me and Sal were talking about this the other day in the space, not time to throw, because guys that scramble are going to always have more time to throw because they escape the pocket. Their buying time is from snap to release, but time in the pocket is judged a little bit differently. And Daniel Jones, as far as time in the pocket, was ranked 10th in the NFL. But the degree from number 1 to 32 was only a 0.5 difference. So it goes to show you how fast the NFL is moving, man. Like that 0.1, 0.2, it really matters within the pocket. This is why I'm telling y'all to go follow Stephen Del Pome, because he's breaking down things in the pocket as far as footwork goes, comparing Daniel Jones to other quarterbacks. One in particular was Ryan Tannehill, and showing you that you ever seen quarterbacks come off the play action and they hit that back step like tighter, like it's not a lengthier drop back. He's showing you how Daniel Jones isn't really doing those kind of things on a consistent basis, and also not making the decisions quick. But the quick passing attack, I think, did help Daniel Jones out a little bit this year in the end, towards the end of the season. But all in all, I think the offensive line looked all right. And what I was telling the homie was just like, to get back to what Ben Dawson was saying, like, sometimes you're just not going to get that answer. But that doesn't mean that you have to just keep asking questions in the same exact you don't have to keep asking questions in a different approach. Like, you're relatively asking the exact same thing with a different question. And then when people give you what they consider to be an answer, you say they're not dropping facts. I can't give you a mirrored situation. And I told him, like, Daniel Jones, a rookie quarterback who's, whether you want to talk about the surroundings or not, has struggled for 3 seasons and then kind of put it together in the 4th season. Most quarterbacks ain't even going to get that opportunity.
Yeah.
Like we look at Jameis Winston, who he got to play out his rookie contract with the Bucs. That dude put up 5,000 yards. I don't care how many interceptions he was throwing. He was aggressive, and he put up 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. Now, granted, he threw 30 interceptions as well, which is not good, but he is one of the anomalies on that 5,000-yard list with a bunch of GOATs, bunch of Peyton Mannings, Tom Brady's, Drew Brees, Dan Marino's, and then you just get this random Jameis Winston stat out of nowhere. So you're not going to see a lot of guys getting those opportunities. And I thought Sal brought up a really good point. He was like, when you look at those guys that struggled for, their careers, when they did get an opportunity to go to another team and try to perform, they really did not take that jump and become a franchise guy. Named guys like Mariota, Jameis Winston. This guy got a second contract, but never really quite put it together. Andy Dalton. Who'd you say?
Tannehill.
Oh, Tannehill. I thought Tannehill kind of put it together, but still there were question marks about the franchise quarterback thing. Tannehill's a guy, I said Tannehill in this conversation today too. I mean, look, Tannehill had the worst wide receiver core, healthy or not, in the entire NFL. His leading wide receiver put up 530 yards. He played in 12 games, and I think he had 1 less passing touchdown than Daniel Jones. Granted, he didn't have the rushing yards. I think he only rushed for like 100 yards this year. But nonetheless, man, in 12 games, he's putting up similar passing statistics with obviously a lot less going right for him. Their offensive line was also ranked in the bottom third of the league. So it was a good conversation. I try to encourage people that, like, if you're not getting your answer, you can't just keep asking the same question over and over. And some people, and not even just in football, this happens in debates across everything. They'll just like keep asking questions to try to get the answer that they want, which they want you to say, oh, you're right, Daniel Jones is this or that. But you're never going to get that out of people that are stuck on their opinion, and it's up to you to force them to pivot. You got to come with the resources and come with the information. You got to say there's no quarterbacks that have ever been in this situation. You can't just keep asking, well, who are they when you don't know,
Yeah. So a couple other quick questions about off-season stuff. Beige Boy says, draft show, ? Gregory says, you guys going to do a draft night? So,
oh, yeah. We definitely going to be doing a bunch of draft content, man. We had some ideas for this season, but things kind of caught up to us fast. The beer was getting married, too, so there was a lot on our plate. But stick around, man. We got a lot coming up for this season 5, man. We're going to approach this a lot different. Look for a lot of pre-recorded content, a lot of lives. And don't forget, during the break here in between the Super Bowl, we're going to be giving out some season awards as well throughout the NFC East, not just for the New York Giants and the Commanders, for all 4 teams, doing some comparisons as well across the division and also for each particular team. So that should be pretty fun as well.
And Lucas, we'll see. We'll see how things progress as far as memberships go. Right now, we just like to keep it.
Yeah, we got to do all that. We got to iron out all that stuff, man. It's been a lot, presenting this kind of content to y'all weekly it takes a lot of commitment. You know, I don't even like to call it work. I always say that to the beard, but it does take a lot of commitment. It takes up a lot of time at bare minimum. So it's like, you know, things catch up to us. There were a lot of things that we wanted to get to this year that we couldn't get to. And you know, they're not on the back burner. They're definitely in line for us to do these things next season. You know, you got to leave room to raise the bar, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, eventually we're gonna break a world record for the highest high jump.
That's
Keep
facts.
that
That's
bar
facts.
up there.
What is that one? The
pole vault.
pole vault.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, we're gonna close out on this.
All right.
Would you do the pole vault?
No. Absolutely not. That would be a car accident waiting to happen right there. I don't even know how they do that. Yeah. Nah. I'd probably get hit with the pole vault. Like it would cause some problems. I just couldn't imagine it. The pole vault is like 12 feet high or something like that.
I don't know, man. Like the actual pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you gotta stunk right into the ground, and then the pole has to like bend for you to lift you and like boomerang you up to the top of the. Nah, dog, I'm not. That's something I would never try.
The way you describe it, it sounds crazy, but
it is crazy, bro. And then you get up there, you're like a story high, and you gotta like bend and get over the. Nah, dog, I'm not doing none of that, bro.
I think you're like 36, 40 feet in the air at that point. Gotta be. It feels like it's like a story high. But you know, I was never a person like, and a lot of kids, you know, be on mattresses. I can remember this back in Glen Haven one day in elementary school. Like kids had like mattresses on the outside of the school, and they climbed the roof, and they were doing like front flips, landing on a mattress. I was like, nah, dog. And when it come to the pool, all of that stuff, I'm not somebody that needs to be like horizontal in the air. I don't want to do no front flipping, no none of that stuff, bro. Not my vibes. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Like, there's certain things that I'm just like, I know my luck. I don't think I'm gonna do that. Yeah,
let me stay away from that.
Not jumping out of an airplane. No bungee jumping. I'm not doing any of that. Swimming with sharks. No.
Oh yeah, none of that stuff.
Thanks.
My girl has done too though. My girl has swum with dolphins, and I literally saw her. She's a petite girl. She's probably about like 5'3", you know. I saw her skydive and come out the sky. Out the clouds, bro, on a parachute and land right next to me. I got it on camera. Maybe one day I'll show it to you. And I was just like, I cannot believe you just did that. Like, I don't know. But I will tell you this, because I don't do roller coasters like at all now. Like, I don't plan on getting on a roller coaster for the rest of my life. I think I would skydive before I got back on a roller coaster. Because skydive, once you jump out, Geronimo! You out, dog. Ain't no coming back from that, dog. Ain't no coming back. So you in the air, you might as well enjoy it, dog. That might be the last time before you go splat one time. So I think I would do that first.
Oh, that was a great way to end. I mean,
yeah, definitely, man.
Somebody needs to clip up how Awthentik just described how to pole vote. Pole vote.
Pole vote. I like that.
Voting on a pole. Pole vote.
I like it. It was very nice. Nice pun intended.
I did that on purpose. But yeah,
that's a good line.
Big shout out to everybody who checked in today on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and of course right here on YouTube. Don't forget, we will be back Sunday at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a special edition of the Parlay as we give you some over and unders. Oh, dude. Okay. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to save the story for Sunday, but I'm going to have a crazy betting story for you guys on Sunday. It's going to blow your mind.
That's what's up, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. Y'all know what it is over here at Awthentik and the Beard, man. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. Big shout out to the podcast GOAT, Mr. Combat Jack himself, man. Rest in peace, my brother. Y'all know what it is, man. Another episode in the books. Make sure y'all pull up Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. A little special parlay edition. We're going to go over the over-unders for both of these games. Should be a real interesting time, man. But again, man, we appreciate all of y'all rocking with us, man. Not just this show, but throughout the whole entire season, man. Big shout out to the gang, man. Y'all know what it is, man. We'll catch y'all on Sunday. Be well. Peace.